Good morning, Year 4. I hope you're all well. Today we are going to be using ambitious vocabulary to describe a setting, and by the end of this lesson you'll be able to use a video of the Amazon rainforest as a stimulus to help you to describe a setting, or that setting, using each of the 5 senses. You will then develop your writing by using high quality adjectives, adverbs and verbs to describe this setting in the 5 senses that you have noticed, and you will then even further enhance your writing by using a prepositional phrase to describe where something in the setting is. So, as your retrieval practice today, I have 2 questions. The first one is on this slide, and it's asking you to think about the verbs and the pronouns in the following sentence and change the sentence so that it's written in the past tense and in the first person. So, can you pause the video now and rewrite this sentence in the past tense and the first person, please? Okay, so you might have highlighted the verbs and the pronouns being Fred and him, and the verbs being sleeps, runs and eats. Remembering what a verb is? Well done, it's a doing word, it's an action. So then, to turn this sentence into the past tense and the first person, we will need to change Fred sleeps to I slept, with one eye open, in case a jaguar suddenly ran, rather than runs, into the den and ate me, rather than eats him. So that sentence now is perfectly written in past tense and in the first person, but there is a slight mistake here, which is a bit of a typo. But don't worry about that, because the rest of it is in past tense and the first person, which is exactly what our diary writing needs to be. Now, our second retrieval practice today is to use this picture, write a definition for the word exasperated, and then can you put the word exasperated into a sentence? So what does the picture show you? What does that tell you about the word? Can you put that into a sentence? Remembering our work on this from our reading session last week. So again, pause the video, construct a definition and a sentence using the same word. Off you go. Okay, so you might have looked at this picture and saw that it's a man who looks like he is tearing out his hair. In frustration, he might be irritated by something. And that is exactly what exasperated means. It means where you feel intensely, so really strongly, irritated or frustrated. We could put this word exasperated into a sentence by thinking, when could someone get exasperated? Well, a shopkeeper could feel exasperated when she didn't receive the correct amount of money. This might make her feel frustrated or irritated. Well done if you got those 2, Year 4. I'm going to be showing you now 2 clips, and I would like you to make notes about the 5 senses. So when you are watching the 2 clips, I want you to think about what you can see, what you can hear, what you might smell, what you might touch and what you might taste. Now this is going to be all about the Amazon rainforest, and the first clip is mainly going to be what you might be able to see, and the second clip is going to be based on what you can hear. Now in terms of smell, touch and taste, this is where you need to use your imagination of those things that you can see and those things that you can hear to help you think about what you might be able to smell, touch and taste. So if you've got this resource in front of you, then you can make notes as we are watching the clip. But if you're doing this on your computer, that's absolutely fine, and you can watch the video first and make notes after. But you must have at least 3 bullet points of every sense, okay? So I'm going to just flick onto our first video, and when you are watching it, make sure that you think, what can I see? So you can see lots of animals. What animals can you see? What animals do we already know from our geography and our reading lessons? Look how big the Amazon rainforest is. It's absolutely huge. And what can you see here? What's happening in that picture? What area of the rainforest is this? Have a look how big the Amazon rainforest is. Lots and lots of streams, lots of water. So rivers, that could be the river that Fred tried to sail down on the raft. Okay, I'm just going to show you now the rainforest sounds, and I want you to be thinking, what sounds can I hear and what animals might these be coming from? Now, it does repeat for the whole 8 hours, but we don't need to be watching that much. So now you've watched the 2 clips. If you haven't already, make sure you do make notes on the 5 senses. This exact sheet is in your resource pack. So can you just pause the video now and make sure you've made notes on what you can see, hear, and what you might be able to smell, touch, and taste. Pause the video now and make a note. Okay, how did you do? So I made some notes myself. And I said that I could see a variety of different species of fauna, those animals, such as a toucan, a monkey, and a sloth. Did you see that too? I also saw a waterfall. Did you see that? Fantastic. I also saw millions of plants and trees, and I'm guessing these plants and trees are different species too. I also saw lots of water in the form of streams, rivers, and ponds. Did you see anything else that I didn't see? There was lots there, wasn't there? The Amazon rainforest is packed of lots of nature and lots of beauty that is just extensive. The list is extensive, so there's much more than what I've just spotted here. Now, what could you hear when we were watching the second clip? This is what I could hear. I could hear lots of different animal noises, such as humming, buzzing, chirping, and these could be coming from frogs, birds, and also a species of monkey called the howler monkey. Did you spot anything else that we could hear? Great job. So what might you smell in a rainforest? Imagine you're there. What could you smell as you're walking through? Shall I tell you what I could smell? I could smell the vegetation, the plants, as well as the other scents that coming from the soil and the leaves. Now, do you think these might be nice smell? The smell of soil, is that a nice smell? No, it's not a very nice smell, but it is the smell of nature, so it could be a nice smell. And also the strong smells of the flowers. That is a nice smell. Did you smell anything else? You might have said that you could smell the animals, the insects, things like that. When you're walking through the Amazon rainforest, imagine you're walking, what might you be able to touch, feel? What is going to be there for you to feel? This is what I thought I'd be able to feel. I thought I'd be feeling the grass on my feet, the soft, crunchy grass. I might be able to feel the branches. The branches might be a bit sticky if there's been some animals or some form of moss on the branches. But I could also touch the insects if there's insects climbing on me, and the trees too. You might be able to touch lots of different animals, depending on if they're going to hurt you or not, so you must be careful in the rainforest. And finally, what might you taste? Well, we know from our book, The Explorer, that they tasted grubs, coca beans, and they also found some acai berries, didn't they? So now, hopefully, you've got lots of ideas in your bank of things that you can see, hear, smell, touch and taste from the Amazon rainforest. Now, I have just put mine into bullet points, how yours should be too. So I can see here that I've got 3 bullet points for most of them, 4 for one of them, and I've only got 1 here. But I could turn this into more bullet points by saying the different animal noises, but I've just put my 3 animal noises in one. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start to think about how we can make each of these bullet points better. Because if I take the first one, what can you see? A waterfall. And if I just wrote, I saw a waterfall, is that good? Is that using ambitious vocabulary? No. So how can we make this sentence better? What can we add to it? That's right, we could add some adjectives. We can see here we've got a noun, a thing. My thing is the waterfall. So let's add an expanded noun phrase to describe this waterfall. But to be able to describe the waterfall, we need to really understand what it looks like. So I've attached a picture here, and we're going to think of a bank of words to describe this waterfall. Well, I can see the water's gushing downwards. I can see that it's tall. The waterfall is tall. It's large. And I'm going to start now to think, what 2 adjectives separated by my comma could I use to create an expanded noun phrase? Well, here's what I could use. I could use my ambitious vocabulary to describe this waterfall as tranquil and majestic. Do you know what those 2 words mean? Don't worry if you don't. The word tranquil means quite calm, calming, a calming waterfall. It's not an aggressive waterfall, it's a calm waterfall. Majestic means that it has lots of beauty. And I think this waterfall is majestic. It does have a lot of beauty. Now you can see that my sentence has already been improved from I saw a waterfall to now I saw a tranquil, majestic waterfall. Close your eyes. I want to say this sentence to you, and I want you to think of what you can imagine in your mind. Ready? Close your eyes. I saw a tranquil, majestic waterfall. Did you picture that in your mind? Now, what helped you to picture that in your mind was the adjectives that I used to describe this waterfall. That helped you to see the image of the waterfall in your mind. We're going to make this sentence even better now. We're going to start thinking how the waterfall was moving. What was it doing? Now, do you remember that word that we use to describe in our reading sessions if something is travelling downwards, like our hair is travelling downwards, or a waterfall is travelling downwards? What is that verb? What's that doing word? Begins with a C. Cascading. If something is cascading, it means that it's travelling downwards. So I saw a tranquil, majestic waterfall cascading. We can make this even better. We can describe how it was cascading. We can add an adverb to describe how the waterfall was cascading downwards. Was it cascading downwards slowly? Was it cascading quickly? Was it cascading gently? Was it cascading beautifully? Or was it cascading gracefully? So we've now added our adjectives to describe the waterfall, the verb to describe what it was doing, and our adverb gracefully to describe how it was doing. So now our sentence goes like this. I saw a tranquil, majestic waterfall cascading gracefully. Now we need a prepositional phrase to describe where the waterfall was going. Where is the waterfall going? Is it going into the sky? Into the rocks? No, it's going into the pool. So it is travelling, it is cascading gracefully into a pool of water. And that was my prepositional phrase. Into a pool of water. Into being my preposition, describing where it is. Now, we have got another noun here, my water. So we can start to think of how we can add another expanded noun phrase to describe how the water looks. What does the water look like to you? It does look wet, but that's not the word that we could use if we want to think of ambitious vocabulary. If we want to think of ambitious vocabulary, we could think of describing it as fresh, flowing water.